Hi, welcome back to No Budget DIY. Before I take you back down to the garage, as you saw in part one, we did get the grain filler onto the body, and we're getting ready to move over to the CNC and work on the neck. So I'll take you back down to the garage. I did want to show that the software that I use is Carveco Maker, and it's what I design all of the G-code with to be able to cut those stars out and to cut the pockets out as well. So I will take you now back down. Just what we're hoping to do on this video is to get those dot inlays out. We want to get the stars cut out, and we want to get hopefully the neck cut out, the dots into stars as well after we remove the dots that are in there. And if we have time, we will go ahead and get those stars actually inlaid into the to the neck. Okay, I'll take you back downstairs and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, welcome back. I'm now sitting in front of the CNC machine and the Raspberry Pi keyboard and monitor that's connected up to the CNC machine. I did want to show that I also have this pendant handheld controller that you can actually adjust the X and Y with it. And you can also set the speed rate that you want this knob to move things. As you can see, it's moving left and right, and I'll move it forward and back. So move it forward. I can also do the Z-axis. As you can see, it's going down closer and up with the handheld controller. And I can turn it off and put it back on one. Okay, so what I've done is I've already did some practice stars here, and I'll show that, and hopefully it focuses in. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get the software loaded up. It works again. So I'm going to run my Z here down much closer to the touchpad here. There we go. And then I'm going to also go back to my here, and I'm going to hit a reset on it so it zeroes stuff back out again. So I'll go over here, I hit probe and run the probe, and you can now see it's moving down, and when it hitches the touch plate it'll turn red and retract. And it didn't turn red and retract, and there's a reason why that didn't happen. That was a great don't do this at home type of thing, which is also why I have these safety glasses. So what went wrong there? The probe doesn't work if it's not connected up to the bit. So I tried to run the probe without first connecting it to the bit so that I could get it to zero, because once that bit touches, it will then retract. So how do I fix that now? I got to replace the bit. And when you run the probe routine and it works, it's really cool. So I'll show you that here in a second. So let me tighten this up. Okay. Now we'll put the probe back. And this time we'll first connect the lead to the probe so that it knows where it's at. Then I can put the probe back here. And that will give us a zero then on our material. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is turn it back on here. Before I do that, I'm going to unplug this and plug it back in and into the USB port. Plug my controller back here in and turn the power on it. And you can see that the blue light came back on again. And what you can also see is the Z-axis is moving now, so I'm bringing it down close to the touch plate with the handheld controller. And now I can go back to my software and I can hit reset and see if it communicates. And again, if it doesn't communicate, then I need to close the software. I'll try one more time. I need to close the software and start it again. And one more time, launch, CNCJS. Hit reset and see if it finds it. Now you see it finds our machine. So I can go down now and run the probe command. Just want to make sure also that the probe is still set to millimeters. It is 12.499 millimeters. Hit the probe. And now when I run the probe, it will go down. It will touch that touch plate and retract. There you go. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, I'm back with you. Again, I've got my little tiny drill here, and I used my marking tool here, and I put a little divot in the center of this first dot, and we'll see if this will drill on that. Hopefully it does. And it looks like it does, and it looks like these are plastic. And that's true there. Now, if this does what they said it was supposed to do, I should be able to just put this in here and cock it out here, but make it come out that way. But I think since it's plastic, it is not inlay. I'm going to have to actually drill it all the way out. And I think that that's what I'm probably going to have to do, because even though this is bottomed out for sure, I can try. If this, yeah, the plastic is breaking. If this were not plastic, that would probably work, but since this is plastic and not actually mother of pearl, it's not gonna pop out. It's breaking, but it's not really popping out. Oh, there we go. There we go. Well, I take that back. A little bit more here. Oh yeah, look at that. If you can't see that, that worked great. It's now out of there. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, I have a pilot hole in all of them now, so I could go ahead and pry them out. Again, the reason I'm doing the Great Southern Trendkiller, Great Western Southern Trendkiller, whatever it is. The reason I'm doing that is because stuff like this, that makes this kit build fun, because I'm doing stuff that I've never done before. And if I just, like I said, slapped it together, it would be just another slap together, you know, D3 kit. So in this case, like I said, it's giving me a chance to learn some things, to do some things. Learn Carveco Maker a little better. Use my CNC, by the way. My CNC is the Genmitsu 440 Reno. I did upgrade the bed to the 440 Pro, which has the separate slatted spoiler boards. So instead of just two big flat spoiler boards, I did it because it looks cool. So now I'm just going to go ahead and try to, you know, pull out these dots now, and man, they just come right out now. Oh, that is so cool. Gone out. So I'm going to finish taking these out, and then, like I said, we'll say goodbye till next time. Oh, look at it come out. Great, wonderful. Okay, I was able to pry out all those little plastic dots. They are now no longer there. It's basically just empty holes. So it's ready for us to turn those holes into star inlays and insets. And so once again, when I get my new CNC files going, I got to go back and do Maker Plus. We'll come back and we'll create the stars, and we'll also do the inlay on the actual fretboards. Because once again, I'm going to cut out the 15mm stars, which go in between the 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th fret. And the dust that I get from that, I'm going to save off to the side so that I can go ahead and use it to fill in the 15th and the, to fill in the 12, 15, 17, 19, and 21 frets. Okay, so I got my G-code regenerated, and I'm just going to zip through here cutting out the stars. Again, this is in fast motion, but one of the keys to cutting these out is the speed of the actual feed rate and the plunge rate. So basically, I'm using a 0.5 millimeter bit, a 0.5 millimeter bit, and that will break off if you're feeding way too fast or plunging too deep. By default, this bit was set to 12 millimeters per second feed rate and 12 millimeters per second plunge rate. And so what I did is I set the plunge to 1 millimeter, so it'll step down just 1 millimeter at a time. And I set the feed rate to 2 millimeters per second so that the bit is actually moving very slow. Originally, I tried using something called Boy Lube, created by Boeing Aircraft, and to be able to lube the bit and the mother of pearl, but I found that all it did, as you can see by my spoil board there, was left a oily mess everywhere. I found cutting it dry works just as well, as you can see here. And again, the key is the feed rate and the plunge rate so that you don't bust your bits off all the time. I will put a picture up here in a minute of the casualties of war. In other words, the all the broken bits that so far that I did. Once I got all the plunge rate and everything done right and got everything associated to the right speeds, I didn't break any more bits. And basically, as you can see, I'm cutting all of these with just one 0.5 millimeter bit. It's a 0.5 millimeter big. And again, so I cut out all the stars, cut out all the little stars, and we'll go back to looking at getting those dots out of the motherboard. Out of the fretboard. Okay, we can move on with that in just a minute. I'll see you back here. Okay, I've got the fretboard mounted in the CNC, and I'm using the probe to go ahead and level from the first fret, being as that's the only one that the probe will actually fit in. And I've made sure that the fretboard is nice and level, so that way the starting point will be the same across all of the frets. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the first star. This is the first test to make sure that it cuts out good, and so far so good. I want to save that dust that's being generated, the little remnants of the cutting dust there, so that I can go ahead and use that to fill in the other stars, the little stars. I'm going to actually fill in those holes and cut them out as well. So that'll be probably in the next video. I'll do that right before I sand the body. So that worked out real well. Test fitting the star, and that comes out good. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut out the 5th fret, the 7th fret, and the 9th fret on the motherboard, gathering up the the CNC dust there from the cut so that I can again use it. I got a little jar there and a little acid brush collecting the dust from it. I do have all the stars cut out now, so it'll be a matter of basically fine fitting them into the actual cutouts and then gluing them in. Want to be careful not to push them all the way down because I won't be able to get them back out. But I did leave about 0.2 millimeter proud on the stars. So my cutting depth there is only 1.3 millimeter and my stars are 1.5 millimeter. So once we wrap up the 7th fret here, we'll cut the 9th fret. And it's again, it's looking really good. And the actual cutting out, making the stars as the inlay pockets now instead of the dots is just working out. It's working out way better than I thought it would. And I was really kind of scared about doing this, but it's turning out really fantastic. Okay, well, I will bring you back as soon as this finishes. And there we go. Okay, well, we're going to wrap up the neck for this week. The stars are here. The one thing about the stars is I mounted the neck in the CNC in the wrong direction, so the stars are actually upside down compared to the Dimebag Darrell, but you know what, I'm gonna live with it and I think it's gonna look pretty cool. Again, I started filling in the holes for the 6 millimeter stars. I'll work on that. So on the next video, we'll finish the neck, which we just got to finish the small inlays, and we'll fine tune the stars for the 15 millimeter inlays, and we'll get that all in, and then I'll grain fill this as well. And then I can definitely tell that that body is so porous that the grain filler actually caused the grain to lift a lot. So I'll show that also in the next video, and I think I'm gonna have to cut it back and actually apply a second coat of grain filler to the body. This routing the stars out was really, really fun. Again, it's something I never did, and the only reason I wanted to do that guitar was probably because of these stars. Okay, once again, this is No Budget DIY. Please like, share, and subscribe. And this kit's going to be really a lot of fun. Again, the next thing I'll do is after I get this is set in and the stars all in place, is I will be mounting the neck onto the body. The reason I didn't mount the neck onto the body is I'm holding it in my hand right now, is because I had to do all this inlay work. Normally when you do a set neck kit or a build, you want to go ahead and set the neck in first and glue it all down, and then do all of your grain filling and all of your prepping and everything all at the same time. But this one called for special circumstances. So again, we're No Budget DIY. We're having a blast with this Dimebag Darrell kit, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.